When you hear the name Kodak, you think cameras and images. It is a name synonymous with such, and rightly so. They have a rich heritage. The Kodak Ektra is a smartphone that builds on this history, offering convergent technology for the 21st century, with some simple integrations that bring traditional prints within easy reach of users. Kodak are not known for their phones, and unsurprisingly, the Ektra is manufactured under license by Bullet, the brand behind devices like cat phones. The Ektra actually has a spec list that seasoned mobile technology enthusiasts may be surprised for the better by. The key specs are shown on screen now. It is far from the thinnest phone, nor is it the lightest, but the overall profile would have you believe it would be heavier than it is. The main body is 9.69mm thick, but this extends to 14.02 at the lens. Held in the hand, the weight is a bit top heavy if held in portrait, and a little left side heavy in landscape, but the protruding grip on the right edge provides a grip to hold and balance this out. I would have liked the power button to have been located higher up the right side. I often found myself pressing the volume key. It feels like you have to stretch down to the power rather than being a more natural fit. Maybe less of an issue if tap to wake was present, but sadly it is not. The bottom edge of the phone is formed into a bulbous cylinder which acts more like a traditional camera grip when held in landscape orientation. For me, this grip is sadly too small to be really functional and too large to not be noticeable. I found myself looking to the optional lanyard strap to ensure a firm hold on the camera rather than this grip. A nice touch is that when the Ektra is laid camera down on a surface, both the camera grip and lens cover are the same thickness, meaning no annoying wobble. Within this grip is too a speaker. There are a series of holes that are quite well hidden against the black back panel. It would likely have been too tight to fit in unless the phone was thicker, but a tripod mount would have been a nice addition, or a portable tripod in the box. The 5-inch display is a convenient size for a large number of users. It is Full HD 1080 by 1920 panel with a pixel per inch count of 441, which is very good. Corning Gorilla Glass is present, which will protect the display from scratches and marks that come from daily use. By today's standards, a rather large bezel on all 4 edges. To me, the whole device looks like it's a bit bigger than it needs to be, but despite this, the overall size of the handset is not much bigger than Samsung's S7. Compared to the S7, screen colours on the Kodak seem a little more muted and not as rich. Samsung does have a tendency to oversaturate images and colours and may not be to everyone's liking. However, having said that, the comparison is not that fair given the S7 has a higher resolution. I'm certainly not disappointed by the screen. A virtually stock version of Android 6 is installed out of the box. You know what you're getting. Easy access to all your favourite Google services from maps to music and more, it's all there. Sign in with a Google account and within minutes all of your favourite apps can be installed. Of course, as you should expect, there are a few Kodak additions, some of which can be removed. 23GB of the 32GB is available to you, which is pretty good. The performance has been pretty good. I'm not a gamer and most of my use was web-based with some streaming, a few calls, etc. I didn't notice any significant lag or weakness in the performance that would cause any concern. There is 3GB of RAM which keeps things ticking along fairly well. The phone did get warm to the touch on occasions under more intensive tasks and prolonged use. Notable pre-installed apps are Super 8, capture images and video, and add a nostalgic look and feel to the content captured. Choose one of 8 effects, change the vignette, grain and scratches, etc. Essentially, have some fun applying different effects. Prints, a great app for having images captured on the phone or taken from social networks, printed and delivered or made available for local collection. Google's Snapseed Editor, a feature-rich image editing suite, turn even a basic picture into something special. Mobi Systems Office Suite, create and edit documents on the Ektra, work or personal, it can handle both. The Prints app for me is super. Within a matter of seconds, you can select images from your device or social networks, select the size and quantity required and pay for delivery or collect in person from a local store. This is what offers that simple blend of digital and physical. Personally, I'm guilty of just leaving many photos to go into my digital archives, whereas my mum, for example, loves a printed picture, but she finds the process as a less tech-savvy individual a little cumbersome. This app makes it effortless. For those who want a print, but want their camera and phone rolled into one, you can't ask for much better. I have to give the Kodak points when it comes to connectivity. USB Type-C connectivity to start with is a bonus, and then, with that, there is support for quick charging with a 2-amp power supply. 4G connectivity is available on this single SIM factory unlocked unit. The nano SIM card sits in a tray that also accommodates microSD memory cards. To access this, you do need to use an ejector pin, which is provided. Bluetooth, GPS, GLONASS, Wi-Fi with support for both 2.5 and 5 GHz bands is great, as is NFC. You can use this device with Android Pay as a result, but there is no fingerprint scanner. The thickness of the Kodak body means no excuses for omitting the audio jack, so on the top of this device is this. Nicely positioned, it does not get in the way of other features and controls. The speaker is built into the grip on the phone and projects sound away from you as a user. Sadly, in an age where stereo front-facing speakers are common, this single firing speaker lacks clarity and definition to stand out. Audible? Yes. Loud enough? Just about. Good quality? Not really. So the camera has to be one of the biggest draws to the Ektra, the 21 megapixel rear-facing camera with phase detection autofocus and optical image stabilization. These technologies help create a better image with better detection of the scene and reducing blur that may occur as a result of movement in the subject or the camera itself. The whole design makes it look like the Ektra is rocking some massive DSLR-like sensor inside. Sadly, the oversized frame around the tiny lens is all a front. It looks good, but the sensor inside is just that you may likely find in many other good smartphones. The Kodak elements do come in here though, and there are an array of controls and tweaking that has gone on to deliver the final result. There are quite a few different controls and shooting modes within the camera. The different modes are accessed via a digital dial, like you might see on a DSLR camera. Shooting modes are shown on screen now. For camera aficionados, the manual mode is where it's at, with control over ISO, focus, white balance, shutter speed and exposure. I quite like that you get a little counter telling you how many images you can take based on your memory in the phone. To capture the image or video, you have the on-screen shutter record button as well as the physical shutter button on the edge of the phone. If required, the volume keys can be set as shutter buttons or used as zoom control. The flash control is not just on or off, but support for red eye removal. 4K recording is possible from the camera, and you can zoom in via the touchscreen or volume keys if set whilst recording. Still images can also be captured as you record footage. On the whole, the video was comparable to the still images, but on close-up video work, autofocus appeared to struggle, having to refocus quite often with obvious frames in the resulting footage as the camera refocused. There is too a front-facing camera rated at 13 megapixels, which offers a selfie or video recording mode. You do get a nice addition of smile detection here, saves reaching for the shutter button. However, disappointingly, video recording is limited to 480p. A double tap of the camera shutter button does allow quick launch into the camera, so you can capture those impromptu moments. The resulting images are pretty good. Overall, the images have a much flatter colour profile than I would personally like. They do not jump out at me, but actually the resulting colours and balance is more natural. Due to the relatively overcast days we have been having, a lot of the outdoor images appear a little darker. I think the camera could have enhanced these a little to bring the image to life a little more. That said, what does work well is the balance of colours and light from the darker areas through to the lighter areas of the scene. Often the white or light sky can be overexposed and lack clarity, but the Kodak does a good job of picking up cloud shape and texture. Overall, it's a positive thumbs up from me. A thicker profile often allows for a bigger battery, and it's good to see that there is a 3000 mAh battery included with support for quick charging. Every user's usage is different, but with my light to medium use I was getting around 5 hours of screen on time. The Kodak Ektra is not going to be for everyone. There will certainly be appeal from the camera enthusiast, but the resulting images may not live up to the expectations of the perfectionist. You are given all the opportunity to tweak the settings, but still you might be left wanting more. Camera functionality aside, as a smartphone it performs well. No, it has not quite got the legs to compete with the best, but it is certainly perfectly capable of competing with a large number of upper mid-range handsets that are available today. In a world of black slab smartphones, the Kodak is just a bit different. There's something interesting and unique about it that appeals across all user groups. It is the added value apps and services that make this camera-centered smartphone something special. Kodak fans may snap this up to continue their love affair, whilst those familiar with Kodak from times past will feel a level of comfort and familiarity in the phone. In an age where so much is digital, the Ektra manages to blend digital and physical imagery in a way that brings comfort to users. An ability to really enjoy the images captured, rather than just being logged into some digital archive somewhere.